Hi everybody, I'm John Beilfuss, the executive chef of Lula's Louisiana Cookhouse in the obvious place for a Louisiana Cookhouse, Owasso, Michigan. And we're closed. This is sometime in April. It's one of those days in the week, earlier I think in the week, yes, Easter was yesterday. Easter is usually on Sunday, so this must be Monday. And today I've got a new recipe for you. A little different, but all with easy ingredients that you have at home. Doro Wot, an Ethiopian chicken stew. This recipe is very Americanized and it's very delicious, so I sure hope you enjoy it. Let's get right at it. And here are all of our ingredients. We have 4 cups of diced onions, 1 cup of chicken stock, 3 tablespoons of minced garlic mixed with 1 tablespoon of minced ginger, a 14-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, 3 pounds of diced chicken thighs, 10 small red-skinned tomatoes that we've halved, and a seasoning mix that is 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of fresh ground nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Hey, shout out to Barb Sager and all of my sister-in-law Ann's family in Milwaukee that are watching these videos. Thanks so much. I want to say, you know, I told you this was a Americanized version. It really is. Last year we did an African night here. It was one of our international nights, and I made a more authentic version of this dish, which is melt down a ton of onions for many hours until they're caramelized and almost unrecognizable as onions, but they become a sauce, and that's cooked down with a Burberry spice mix. We made this dish. It was delicious, but any better than this, and you can make this in 45 minutes. So enjoy. First thing we're going to do is heat up some olive oil. So we're going to add our 4 cups of chopped onions and a little pinch of salt. And we're going to cook this down slowly for about 10 minutes. I'd also like to thank my family over the years, because if you came home for dinner at my house, which for years and years, I would go home at 4:30, make dinner. We'd have family dinner at 5:30. And a lot of the dishes that I'm making for you in these videos are those old family dishes that I love, my favorite way of cooking, and things that you can have easily on hand and be able to, you know, get done in an hour. I remember one time my kids saying, "Can't we just have hamburgers?" Okay, that's been about 10 minutes. You'll see they're starting to brown and take on a little color, but have softened all up. And so now we're going to go in 3 tablespoons of minced garlic and 1 tablespoon of minced ginger. We're going to stir that around, and we're just going to let that cook for another couple minutes before we throw the rest of all the ingredients in. You may have noticed in all the recipes, whenever I've got garlic to throw in, I throw it in at the very end, maybe saute it for a minute after onions or sofrito or whatever we're doing ahead of it. The garlic goes in last. 2 things about garlic. The smaller you chop it and the less you cook it, the more potent. And the other thing is, you've got to be very careful not to ever let it burn. It gets bitter as hell. So there we go. That's been about 2 more minutes since we put the garlic and ginger in, and we're going to go in now with all of the rest of our ingredients. Here's 1 cup of chicken stock, 14 ounces of crushed tomatoes, 3 pounds of diced chicken thighs, 8 to 10 small red potatoes, and our seasoning mix. Stir that all up. Now on this dish, if you wanted to brown the chicken before you start the whole process, you could. It gives it a little bit more depth, but again, I'm looking at this as, if I just came home from work, I got an hour to get food on the table, this is going to work really awesome. So now we're going to bring that up to a boil, turn it down to a simmer. A guy that we made fast friends with, Tom Dalton from Under the Radar Michigan, which if you haven't caught that show, it's a great show, and he's a great guy. Came in last year and did a piece on us, and my God, if you see him in the videos, that's not acting. That's who Tom is. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. And we had a wonderful night with him. He was going to come in for an hour and a half. They stayed for 5 hours. We ate, drank, and had a ball. So just please, if you get the chance, I'd love to return the favor to Tom, and go watch Under the Radar Mission. Great show. So that's come up to a nice boil now. Let me give it a little stir, make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. Turn it down to a simmer. We're about 10 minutes in right now, and because these chicken thighs are actually diced smaller than what I have, and the pasta is going to cook quicker. I think we're going to be done in about a half hour here. The real key will be as soon as those potatoes are soft, we're going to be good to go. So one of the most fun things I'm having about making all these videos for you is I'm actually cooking the food that we had in our house when I was raising kids, like my kids, my wife. And there we are. That's about 40-45 minutes. The potatoes are now soft enough to eat, and I'm going to plate it on up. And there's the final plate. I've topped it with a little chopped cilantro because Morgan and I like cilantro. I've plated it over basmati rice. Typically this would be served with injera, which is a very unusual Ethiopian bread that you would use as a utensil and pick it up to eat. But this is going to be a delicious chicken stew for you over basmati rice. Oh man, that was delicious. So a couple recipe notes on that. You know, if you don't have one of the ingredients in the spice blend, don't put it in there. It's not going to kill it. If you don't have cardamom, leave it out. If you don't like it spicy, reduce the cayenne, or don't put the cayenne at all. It's not going to make it terrible. Nothing's going to make it terrible. So it's just cooking. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Totally Unprofessional Board Food Videos, sequestered here in the corner of my kitchen at Lula's Louisiana Cookhouse in Owasso, Michigan. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll do it again real soon. Just didn't have any cute anecdotal Ethiopian stories. Hello again, everybody. I'm John Beilfuss, the executive chef of Lula's Lula.